am making some little brownies. But, so, what I had been talking about before. So I didn't really train, right? I do suggest you should. I think it's, there's like a lot that goes in. It's a physical thing. It's also a mental thing. I don't think you can prepare 100% that you won't have any issues. I think, but I think something that people did that they told me they did that I was like, that's a really good idea was, one, I definitely think you should get one of those like light backpacks because I was using like a backpack that I had for camping, and that backpack was like way too heavy, honestly, like way too heavy. I should not have used that backpack. I think it was not a good choice because so I have a heavy duty one that I used to use when I would go camping, so it's like by itself it's already like heavy, like the backpack itself is super heavy. And even my mom, she was like, are you really gonna take that to go do that? Like, why don't you buy another one? And I was like, for what? This is the one that I already have. Like, she was right. It was way too heavy. So like you can always send your bag, it's like up to you how you want to do it. Mixing the milk and you can't really see the milk and the oil. I'd rather use butter, but it says everything needs to be cold for this recipe. So and so there we go. And what people told me that they did was they started walking a lot more. I walk a lot generally. I mean, to get to my gym, I think I have to walk like 3 or 4 kilometers, which is not that much compared to what you do there, right? But I did that like on a daily basis and then walk back after I would work out. I was working out like a couple 5 days a week, I think minimally, maybe if I'm with really bad, like 4. But right before I went on my Camino, I had some like family stuff, and I'm just someone who, I guess you could say is like prone to depression in a way. And I was just feeling really, I was feeling really off, honestly. And it was hard for me. And so, like, I was not in my physical regimen. I was actually eating terribly right before because I usually do pretty good. I make sure I have my protein and, like, my vegetables. But I was just feeling something was really heavy. And then someone passed away in my family. Like, literally the week before I left, somebody passed away. We dealt with all of that. And then I went to, like, go serve in a retreat for the church. And it was just, like, so much. And then, like, I left 2 days after the retreat. And so I was just not up to, like, almost 2-3 weeks before that, I was just not doing what I need to do, which that does affect you, because even if you're not, like, something, if you don't walk or you don't do a little something, like, your body will start to feel it. So I went really untrained, but I did have a really strict schedule before. Like, I was waking up really early. Also that, I got used to waking up early, but that's kind of part of my schedule already. But I think if you're not used to waking up early, you should try to get that into your routine beforehand. A lot of people said they started walking more, and then they started off with just the backpack, and then little by little adding weight to the backpack, so that your body gets accustomed to have this thing that you're just kind of carrying around, because it does feel different on your body. And like, depending how your body is, if you're like lean more towards one way, lean towards the other way, you learned how to kind of move the backpack. And they were not doing it every day, but at least like once a week or every couple days, every 3 days, like they were putting on the backpack and walking and carrying more weight, so that when they started doing these extreme lengths, because like, you do walk for at least 4 hours. I would walk for longer because I was slower. So when you're walking you can't do that in your regular life. Not everybody can, right? Just be like, oh, I'm gonna walk. Maybe if you can, because you work like on calls, you can, but most people can't. So they would just do 1 hour or 2 hours, and with the weight, and little by little, more weight, or a little bit longer, stuff like that, so that their body had an idea. But your body is in shock no matter what, especially the first couple days. It's like, what are you doing? Why are we doing this? And yeah. So that's what they say. The first third is all about your body, but that's how most people train for it. I think also just getting your body ready mentally, knowing that you're going to be like in the space by yourself and you are going to be meeting people and people are going to want to talk to you because they're extremely friendly. And like if you're not a super social person, you have to get mentally prepared for that. That was the big thing for me. I didn't realize people were going to want to talk to me so much. And not like me specifically because I'm just interesting. Like it's just because people are very friendly and they want to talk to you and why are you here and what are you doing and where'd you come from? And so I didn't process that because I didn't realize. I mean, I knew it was famous, but I didn't know. Like, I knew it was a popular thing to do, but I didn't know like how popular it truly was. So then I was not prepared for the whole like, oh, people are gonna want to talk to me and like ask me what I'm doing and like this and that. Like, I was not. I had not mentally prepared for that part. So I think mentally preparing for that, and then that you're just gonna find yourself, discover yourself. I think that I had mentally prepared myself because I knew that was gonna be part of the whole thing. Excuse me for the sound. It's just because it's all liquid, it makes that little sound. But that's a big thing. You can't be scared to confront yourself if you're going to do this because you will be meeting you. And the Camino will take you where you need to go, even if you don't want to. You have to understand, like, we're doing a natural process of you're walking. So walking forward, I think sometimes a lot of the talking that we do, or even therapy, when you're used to being in therapy, a lot of the therapy is, I sit, the therapist talk, I listen, and then I get up. But you're stagnant. You're in that place, right? Versus cinnamon, by the way. You always gotta put a little bit of cinnamon in your brownies, in my opinion. Sorry, just need to make sure it gets in there. Okay, so you want to be able to do that. You want to be able to process things, but sometimes it's hard because you're just like sitting there, so you're like stuck physically, and that translates mentally. Versus like because you're walking forward, the thought that you're having are also moving forward. You seem to be able to kind of go through things and accept things much quicker or in a very interesting way that I don't think you were able to before. For me, you think about the general things. It's like you think about your parents and how you grew up, and then at some point it's like it's day 2, like day 3. I kind of have gone through that. Okay, maybe I'll think about my extended family. Or okay, now I have to think about things that have happened to me, and now I'm remembering this, and it's just such an interesting process, and each person is going through their own process. So that's a lovely thing. But that's the best way to prepare. I think watch some videos of people who actually know what they're doing in that sense. Don't do what they do. I'll tell you what I had in my backpack at the end of this. But I had like 2 shorts. One was like a bathing suit. I had a bathing suit. Okay. So it was like a top and shorts. I think if I would do it again, I'd bring a tankini so then I could just wear that. So I had that. The shorts, it was like a skirt, but they were shorts. They were for swimming. And then I had a pair of regular shorts. And then I had like an exercise, that type of material t-shirt, short sleeve, and then one long sleeve. I had like 4 pairs of underwear. I had 4 pairs of socks. I had flip-flops and hiking sandals and my boots. Mind you, I did lose some of the stuff along the way for clothes. And then you have like the stuff that you need. Like I had shampoo. I did carry conditioner. I have very curly hair and I knew I was going to be in the sun. I wasn't going to let it dry out. So I did use conditioner. But then I lost so much of that along the way. I even had like a body soap and like intimate soap. Lost that. Toothbrush, toothpaste. Try not to bring big bottles of it. If you bring smaller, you may finish it, but it's not that deep. Like there's always places where you can buy it, right? A towel. I did bring a towel because there's not always a towel. The thing is, when you go and it's cold, you truly need like a blanket. One of the things that someone brought that I saw that was a good one. It's like a sleeve for your sleeping bag. So it's not the sleeping bag, but it's like a sleeve you can get in there. So at least you're like warm in there. I did not have that. A light. You need a light if you like to go out early. I like to leave early because I like to have that time alone. You need a light. Your water bottle. medicine, stuff like that. You need stuff for your blister. So you need like something that will disinfect, like the liquid. Like I was using iodine, and then you need like cotton, and you need a needle and some thread and all those kinds of little things. Have that in a little pack is very helpful. I had Vaseline, and then I had like baby cream, like that white cream that I would put when I would sleep on like any big holes that I had, just to see if it would help with the healing. It did. I had many blisters. Um, I had other things, but those are the main things that I think like that you kind of need, and then along the way you learn what you need in terms of like your first aid kit. Because I had stuff, I had my brush and I had my sunscreen and I had stuff like that. Um, Depending how you are, your beauty routine goes out the window. Mine went out the window because at some point I'd lost my face wash, and then I just didn't know like if I should buy one because they don't sell like mini face washes. Well, at least where I went, every time I went, I asked for a face wash. They were always the big ones. I'm like, I don't want to carry that. And I didn't carry my bag most of the time, honestly, because since the first day, I started having problems with my hip, and I feel like that's because I hadn't trained and my body was like out of practice. Because even in the gym, I don't do a lot of cardio because my cardio is my walk there, my walk back, and I walk everywhere, and like I walk to the market every day. So mostly I did strength training, flexibility, mobility, which I think helped me because it strengthens certain muscles that eventually were basically in crisis, because I felt like my pelvic floor, that's why at the end, like my body was under so much stress. I just always felt like I need to go to the bathroom because the muscles in my pelvic floor were weak from just like my body having to focus on other parts of my body. um, I did take vitamins, not a lot, but a few, so that every couple days when I remember I would take them because I felt like I just wasn't getting, even though I was eating well, you're still like doing so much. So little things that I take for like also my nervous system. I take like a lot of supplements for that. So I took a couple of them, not a lot, but it was like a handful of different pills. That these are all like they're supplements, they're not medication. And then you do want to have medication, like if you have migraines, take migraine medication or some ibuprofen, allergy medication, like an Alka Seltzer. Not a lot, but a little, because you never know when you're going to need it. You can always find a pharmacy, but you never know. Because, I mean, I had an allergy reaction where my eyes were literally swollen. So, you know, yeah. So I think that's how you prepare. It's have some stuff, look at what people do, think what you would need, knowing what you're doing. That's how I kind of approached it. And then you learn along the way what you need, because I didn't know like I was gonna get cuts and fall and all these bruises, like all this stuff. I didn't realize that was something, and then I ended up having to buy muscle cream and all that stuff, and I was very happy with it. And like you just learn along the way how to take care of you.